Greetings and welcome to the Horrific Talk Spot.
Yep.
I might need a microphone so people can actually hear me.
Oh, hey.
Now
I can hear you. That's great.
Good. I was in the middle of watching YouTube. You popped on. I'm like, I'm just completely wigged out. Normally I get set up and then it's like, all right, I've got 20 minutes to spare and I'll stick something on and then I go into Colin mode. Just La La Land.
That's fair.
Professional as always. Here we are where we talk about stuff. Sometimes it involves horror and sometimes people actually watch.
Fucking A.
Oh man. Here, I think I've officially got my first proper stalker.
No shit.
I don't know if you noticed some of the posts I've been sharing.
I have not. I've been extra busy this last couple of weeks with school.
I have this absolute lunatic, and when we do the Friday episodes when we basically perform authors' excerpts, of works, and that goes out every Friday. So I share that around a bunch of horror-related groups and writers' groups. Basically try to get people a bit of exposure. I have this one individual, and I never saved it, but he's actually DM'd me before, and he's commented before, and every time I post, seems to send this guy into a blind rage.
Damn.
How dare you be sharing independent authors? How dare you? You made a typo. How dare you, dumbass? Fucking blah, blah,
blah.
How dare you use cliche? Yeah. I researched this on Google and this has been used 1,000 times. How dare you, you unimaginative fucking cunt? You horrible person for making content.
Yeah, I saw that one particular post. It's like, wow. Fucking A. I wish
mental.
I had that kind of
time. I think I've talked this before with other people as well. I don't understand the concept of hate watching. I don't get it.
What? How much time do you have? Free time, I guess I should say, that you can do that shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you if you can do
that? There's a new comic book creator come out, and I've ordered their first issue. What they've done is it's not a crowdfund, it's a pre-order campaign, and busy brand new character because the stuff's got out at the moment just absolute shite. I'm fed up. I've been checked out for a long time. It doesn't mean I'm still not a nerd, and it doesn't mean I don't want to get excited about stuff and I want escapism again. So do this, but this guy has thousands of people that literally just hate watch him. Just pure hatred, and watch every tweet and ring up his podcast, and it's just mental that you waste that much effort on something you don't like. Like, what the fuck's left in your life? Like, if I don't like someone or something, I just check out. I'm done.
Yeah, it's as easy as that.
I just fucking move on. It's like, okay, bye. I just don't get this obsession over someone or a property or a movie. Like, a lot of horror movies are really bad for it. And I'm going to talk about this because the trailer dropped and I want us to react to it because I never watched the full thing because I want us to do it together. But this movie in particular has generated so much hate. And you think the way people talk that the horror genre is this high art, fucking pristine form of storytelling when we all know 80% of it's goofy shit. And we love it because it's goofy shit.
Like, yes, there's A24 in the world, and we fucking adore A24. But the rest of the movie's got to be fun. Like, fuck, what the hell's wrong with fun?
I don't know. There seems to be an addiction to misery. And it's funny because I embrace everything macabre and dark, and I have to watch what I say when I'm speaking to normies. I forget myself that I scare the shit out of normies, basically. And I have to check myself and my sense of humor and things I enjoy. I just have to go, never, and this is my outlet because I just gotta go, blah, guts and fucking gore and people getting stabbed, and yeah, I love it. But I just don't get this whole concept of I hate you, I despise you. I'm going to watch every minute of your content, every post you make. I'm going to watch every... it's mental.
Yeah.
And I've got one. So I must have... My star must be on the rise
Oh, absolutely.
That's when you know you're making it, aren't you? When you've actually got people friggin' whipping themselves while they're watching. I fucking hate him. I hate calling these fucking posts again. Oh yeah. So I'm glad I do it for you. Charming people that you are. Those of you that absolutely despise me in guts, you know, I'm just here to provide a service. Glad to be here. And in fact, that's more reason. Sometimes I do doubt whether it's worth carrying on because the amount of work goes into putting all this shit together sometimes just becomes a headache. But knowing that there's somebody out there making their life a misery just by existing, that's reason alone to keep going.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway,
that's like the second reason to keep this shit going. Fun for one, but two, fuck them.
Yeah, if I'm really sending people into a fucking rage I would understand if, because I keep this, yes, we have opinions, we're on different sides of the spectrum about some things, but we try to keep this like political neutral because we don't want to be in that fucking zeitgeist of retardation where that colors everything. We're trying to step away from that and show there's other stuff and we can actually just enjoy life. And that's what entertainment's about. Fucking taking that moment out of life, which is shit enough, and escaping.
Yeah.
So try to stay alert. So if I was posting that sort of shit, I would understand. If I was sitting here giving, this is my way, I believe the world should run, and it's the only way, blah, 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 I would understand getting the hate. But, and if I was sitting fucking self-flating and just share my stuff all the time, check me out, I'm the fucking bestest ever, I would understand getting the hate. But when I'm going, oh, here's another story from another author.
Yeah.
What the fuck is so terrible? And guess what?
Right.
If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah,
but at least
don't pay attention.
At least somebody's getting the opportunity to get out there, because this is fucking hard enough, especially the way the big companies are going. And that's where I do stand, is that these big corporate conglomerates that preach one thing, yet their practices are completely separate. You know, I have a problem with it. And also they're killing creativity because they're idiots running it.
Yeah.
Who aren't interested in actually even their customer base. Like, going into an industry where you hate your own customer, I just don't get it. I mean, your life's just miserable.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Terrifier 2 trailer finally dropped. It looks like we're going to get this movie this year. So I thought we'd do something a wee bit different. And also, I want to practice, see if this will work this time, because I tried a trailer reaction and I forgot to click the sound button. So apparently there's a wee checkbox that you click sound, because apparently playing videos without sound's the thing.
That's so crazy. All right.
So this just dropped a day or two ago. Like I said, I've only literally watched the first couple of seconds, but I wanted to keep it, so that's...
I'm going in raw. I haven't seen shit. So fucking excited for this.
I'll put a bit of spit on for you. Easy in. Let's do it.
So, did you figure out what you're dressing up as tomorrow?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
As you should.
Well, it's just a costume.
You think that guy's still out there?
What's up with you and this clown all of a sudden? You're like obsessed. They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here?
I love Art's I don't give a shit attitude. I'm just shoving stuff in their bag.
Wait a minute. Aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Sir, what are you doing?
It wasn't me.
He was covered in blood on his shirt and his hands when he got here.
I'm telling you, it was him. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
You're really weird. You know that?
I believe him.
About what?
Something really bad's gonna happen tonight. No, I know when Jonathan's lying, okay? I could hear it in his voice. Something's wrong.
Look,
Man, she's building that fucking costume last second for Halloween. She is a goddess.
Kids, we have a very special guest with us today.
Yeah, that's
all the way from Miles County. Please welcome Art the Clown.
Night. Oh, brilliant. They even get involved.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
911. You have an emergency.
Fuck yeah. I'm
October 6th.
excited.
Oh, that's like in 2 weeks' time.
Like I've been a fan of art since All Hallows Eve, so I'm fucking stoked for that.
That was even more twisted than his movie. That
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
God, that was brutal. Like, this guy's not fucking about. Hang on. I love the horn.
Yeah.
Or just seeing here. Is there like a cult following? They're doing it a wee bit different. Like, has he actually got followers now?
I hope so.
Is that where they're
should.
going?
I mean, if serial killer, all serial killers have following.
There's one there, a scene. It's just classic where he's tiptoeing in. Where does he get those heavy duty bags? Like, it's just effectively a plastic bag he shoves everything into.
Yeah, I want to know because like my fucking huge bags at work are always tearing, so that'd be nice.
This bit is just classic art. You know what I mean? He just,
Yeah.
I love doing this shit. I'm a twisted fuck, and I'm just going to have fun with this.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. That's, but once again, this movie, it just gets a lot of hate for what reason I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Like, if you don't like horror, I get that. You're wrong, but I get that. But it's brilliantly shot. The story's fantastic. The killer is just awesome. Like, what the hell else is there to want from a fucking horror movie?
And there's gore. He uses practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
The gore is there, so it's not like it's
fuck yeah, nothing like cutting someone
hidden.
in half with a saw. Like,
you'll never get. That's a classic scene. You'll never.
Fuck yeah.
That's one that goes in the archives at Horror Forever. You'll never get that again. Also, I love the fact that Art, like in Terrifier, yes, he has his bags and he's got his tools, which a lot of the monster killers rely on.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, "Oh shit, I don't have anything," and he picks up a gun and shoots somebody because he just wants to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just like, "I'm not actually that attached to my stuff." You know, what I mean, it's just the idea. Oh, here's a load of shit. I'm throwing it into a bag, but I'll use whatever's handy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get. This is what I'm talking about. What I mean, these absolutely tapped in the head mental people that will actually take. You know, they'll hate on this movie and make it a thing of you like it, I hate your guts too. And I don't get that.
Well, it's especially something like this. It kind of just reminds me of the people that hate on Gwar. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. You hate a plastic alien like this. It's like, oh, you hate a clown. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah, I've actually infinitely more respect for Gwar since watching the documentary, especially when you got somebody that ended up performing on stage with a colostomy bag because it'd just been shot,
mm-hmm.
and they didn't want to miss the show. Like, and it wasn't even they were involved in anything; they were just in the wrong place, wrong time,
Mm-hmm.
and scumbags tried to hijack their car. I mean, you see their, they live like shit. They actually live, everything went to their art. So the like living standards they were not healthy people. Like they were doing themselves harm. But when you see the art studio and the work they put into the costumes and the props, like that's professional level work. They should be on movie sets, the level of detail and love they put into what. Yeah, I didn't like their early stuff, their music wise. And it was really jarring. The sort of punk thing with their aesthetic really went against each other. So I kind of get that, people being nauseated, but they kind of streamlined and then they found the music to go with their aesthetic and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So they evolved. It's not like they just had a gimmick.
Yeah.
And then Lead Singer dying was a tragedy as well.
Yeah, that's one of the few times a celebrity dying actually got to me.
That
one fucking hit hard.
Sorry, you know me with names. I'm awful.
Dave Brockie.
Yeah. And then we got what do you call him? Bear Club or something? Back to take over. The original bassist.
Oh, yeah.
What was his nickname?
Lothar.
Hmm?
Lothar.
Lothar? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Lothar the Berserker.
All right, yes. Sorry, mix them up. It's a massive, you know what I mean? It's a massive undertaking, that band. I know we're going on a tangent here, but may as well talk about it. It's check that documentary out, by the way.
Yeah,
really worth it.
That's one of my all-time favorite bands, and that shit had me crying. It was a good one.
Absolutely. Right. So, shall we get on to the serious business
I guess.
movie reviewing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's check out our next release. And this is a strange one.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
What Josiah saw. Now I keep thinking Hosea, you know, like just been around too many Spanish people. But it's actually Josiah, that's the way they pronounce it. So
yeah.
That's his name. New release in Shudder. First of all, Robert Patrick is amazing.
Yeah.
That guy still is intimidating as fuck. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants to act. You think after, you know, why some people still rest in their laurels. After Terminator 2, you think he'd just be resting in that and going to convention stuff. No, he's like, I'm a working actor. I'm just going to do my shit. And he's embraced getting older and everything else.
Yeah.
And I love it. He's been quite a few parts. There was one, like an assassin movie, where he played like the leader of a biker gang, and he's played various roles. So he doesn't give a shit. You know, he's just doing his thing. But yeah, he carries this whole thing, definitely.
He really does.
Central character. The rest of them are good as well. They're really solid cast in this and solid acting. I'll give. It's not like a weak performance. Everyone's like invested in the roles and really doing the business. Even the wee kid, who was there for like briefly, 2 minutes, made an effort. However,
it was too fucking long. That's my biggest bitch fit with it. It was just too fucking long.
They took their time getting there. And for the payoff at the end, this could have been a lot tighter. It's almost like they're trying to do an anthology series, because they broke it up into acts. There's 3 acts, and then 5 acts in total. I mean, there's the intro, beginning, the 3 acts, and then the finale. We'll start off in the beginning. We're seeing Josiah and Thomas. They're living in a farmhouse and just going through there. It seems like they're quite happy for the most part. So you're not getting any hint of horror or anything wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I felt like there was just like an underlying tone of just like there's a menace just beneath the surface. Because you definitely get a bit of a Texas Chainsaw family type of farmhouse feel.
Oh yeah, the aesthetics, but I mean the actual dynamics of the family just seem to be quite happy, and I was just waiting for what's the external forces going to come in and disrupt this. We've talked about it before in other movies where they've had everyone's got their dynamic, and then it's the external force that comes in, and then that's what kicks everything off, and then that sort of veneer of happiness just gets completely torn away. I can't remember what movie. There's one specific I'm thinking of where we talked about, and there was the veneer of happiness, and then the external agent comes in, and then it all just gets ripped up. I'm
trying to blank.
Watch all our previous episodes.
Yeah, you'll find it at some point.
Yeah, we talk about all sorts of shit, but this is not.
Speaking of which, I'm going to call you out right now, sir, for talking about Dead Silence without me. That is one of my favorite fucking movies.
What?
Yeah.
You love Jimmy Wan striking again?
I fucking love Dead Silence. I will fucking fist fight anybody that hates that shit. Period.
It's exactly the same as every other Jim Wan movie ever.
Yeah, but it was the first.
Oh, well, that was obviously his template, and he's just carried it on and on and on and on and on. Well, sorry, I didn't get to watch it until later. I missed it.
fair. That's fair.
Because it came out in 2018, and I had problems.
It didn't come out in 2018.
Was it 2018 it came out?
Dead Silence? No, that shit came out when I was in high school, dude.
It said 2018, and it must have been when...
Dead Silence? No, that had to have been 2003 or 2004. I'm gonna look that shit up real quick.
Yeah, you do
You,
that.
you go on. I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah, just James Wan has burnt me out.
2007.
2007? Shit.
I was fucking off. I was not in high school at that point.
Better than me. Fuck, I don't know. I thought it said, I don't know, Netflix must have varsed up.
Yeah, probably. It's Netflix.
They fucking can't do anything right. Can't get their viewer figures right. They're getting pulled over the coals at the moment. Them and all the streaming services, because they're not reporting their figures.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're trying to go for advertising. And then, as Twitter's found out, if you lie about how many actual real accounts you have and don't do due diligence, well, you're defrauding companies saying that you're offering a product. Trade Descriptions Act over here. So Netflix and all, because they're putting all this spinning shitty programming, and they're having to like tighten their belts because people are switching off. So that's all fun. Yeah, but they can't get this right. But yeah, back to this one. Yeah, we kind of get the setup. We'll see Thomas and Josiah in the house, blah blah blah, and then it cuts into the first act, the Ghost of Willow Road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we'll have the oil company come in. Or
I feel like you're skipping over the part where it starts to show that everything's not peaceful.
Does that not come in after? When it cuts into the first part, that's when it starts diving into it.
Oh, does it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you've got the intro part. That's what I mean. You've got the intro part, right?
Yeah. There's
and
just
it's all
so much going on.
Yeah, they really packed this out. So that intro part doesn't really tell you anything. It just goes on, and then it fades into the Ghost of Willow Road. Mm-hmm. It goes to the oil company, and then it goes back to the house, and then that's where we start getting the deep dive into Thomas's life not being as idyllic. Honestly, I had to go through this twice to try and get it in my head. And see, trying to skip through Shudder, you know you can do it with the other platforms, but when you try and skip through Shudder, it has a shit fit and crashes.
Yep, every fucking time.
And you're like, fuck's sake, man, this is basic stuff. So it's doubly painful when you're trying not to just watch it from start to finish. You know, when you're trying to get through to certain parts to get it in your head. And Shudder's just like, nope, you're not doing that. You either watch the whole thing from start to finish or fuck off. We're not having that here.
Well, and it's funny too. I would honestly not be surprised if that was intentional, because, like, for instance, with Netflix, the way that they do their ratings, like how well viewed it is, it's like up to a certain point through the credits, and if someone didn't fast forward, then it's considered a full view. So, with Shudder being a smaller platform, like, I could see that being intentional just so that it looks like there's more views, even though they never actually announced to the world what the amount of views were. But yeah, I could see that being some fucking...
The thing I like about their platform is they allow feedback on the movies. You know, they have the rating, the 5-star review, and people can give actual feedback on the movies. So you can go in after the movie and you can get all that there. That is the most open of a platform I've seen in my life, because everything else is trying to duck and dodge and, you know, fluff things.
Yeah.
Where at least Shudder, for the most part, is honest. It's just, I think it might even just be a technology thing, because they're a smaller channel. They haven't been able to invest in much in infrastructure that you know, their back-end software can't cope with you just sliding your bar across. You know, it's just annoying when you're trying to review a movie. I know most people just stick it on, watch, and finish and don't really think about it. But when you're trying to like go through and pick out certain scenes and refresh your mind, because there's a shitload of stuff in this movie.
It really is. Well, and that's a funny thing too, because like on like later consideration, there really isn't. Like, looking at the show notes, like, it's a pretty straightforward A to B to C to D type of story. But it's a lot of atmosphere and a lot of character building that they work with, like shit that you can't just really necessarily write about. Yeah,
you can't fill it in like 2 minutes, which in one sense it got me invested in the characters. Like the first part, Ghost of Willow Road, would go into Thomas and the relationship with him and Josiah.
Mhm.
We understand that, stuff's went on, and especially he was the one that found his mother, Miriam,
Mhm.
when she hung herself. And that's what this is all centered around. This is all centered around family home and their mother committing suicide. And this is supposed to be the sin that has to be repented against.
Mhm.
Sorry, feather in my throat there. It's molten season. I've been breathing in feathers for the last 2 days.
Yay, animals.
Fun times. But yeah. So we'll say that this was a rough family, but they were close.
Mhm.
And then what we think is the catalyst, because obviously later on it finds out something completely different, but the catalyst of everything breaking down is Miriam, the mother, killing herself.
Mhm.
Well known in the community. And then they pick this up, with the oil company. Basically speaking to the sheriff. And this is old school, sort of sleazy town, sleazy sheriff, bully, gets to wear a uniform and a badge, that stereotype.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he tells the whole story of it. And then he's basically offering to mediate, because the whole thing is the discovered oil, they want to buy the farm as well as a number of other properties, and they're using the sheriff to strong arm people or persuade them to sell up, above market price, but not what the property's worth.
Yeah.
So you're getting that whole vibe. We'll see. There's something wrong with Thomas, obviously.
Mhm.
And we don't know whether he's always been like that or it's the cause since, but he's definitely challenged.
Yeah.
We see him going to town. His father warned him because he sees a wee boy, and it kind of goes the other direction what we think it is.
Mhm.
You stay away from that boy, get that out of your head. They're actually making him out to be a pedo.
Oh yeah. I mean that was my first thought.
That was the vibe. I was like, oh shit, is this what fucking, he's best, like Michael Jackson was best friends with a lot of kids.
Mhm.
Fucking, yeah. Jimmy Savile was best friends with a lot of kids as well. Fucking cunt. We've had this conversation as well. Fucking bastards. But yeah, that's a hint that he's, he's at developmentally challenged, that he sees a 10-year-old as his peer as opposed to a kid, because mentally he's that age.
Mhm.
And that whole sort of weird thing. Yeah, they're setting up, it's when they go into that act, it sets up really grim home life between these two.
Mhm.
And then randomly, Josiah gets, because he was actually slagging Thomas off for praying and stuff, like constantly berating him and that, and then all of a sudden Josiah gets God, appears at his bed and
Yeah.
goes, yeah, we're going to fix everything.
Well, and it wasn't even God. It was supposedly Miriam came and spoke to him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was his reasoning why there is a God.
Yeah, and then they're going to turn their lives around, and he's not drinking anymore.
Even though he's still constantly drinking, just not in the morning.
Yeah, just okay, no more breakfast drinks.
It's like, hey man, who hasn't been there? Like, oh man, I'm giving up drinking forever, at least this morning.
It's a strange one. The masturbation scene in this is fucked up.
Dude, that was the real horror of this movie. Fuck.
Like, they're really putting out that Josiah likes his children in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole...
Well, and then to just keep going while he's doing it, it's like, man, that's...
Go on, boy. Yes, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think you need a cheerleader while you're doing that, but whatever. I guess to each their own.
Well, we'll kind of discover later on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole scene and the way he instantly blames Eli, which is funny. We haven't met Eli yet, by the way, you know what I mean? But he said, oh, there Eli is. He found some mags, and oh, there's a whole, like I said, it's setting up a whole sleazy undertone.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the whole undertone of abuse. That's why I'm saying it's drastically, you know what I mean? At the beginning, the intro part, we're not seeing that. And then once it flips into this part, that's where drives it home.
Yeah. Well, it gets progressively darker and more on the nose, like as the story progresses.
Yeah, this is dark. Like I said, apart from the runtime and which we're going to go into next, a plot line that really didn't need to happen at all. This could have been a really tight horror movie, like proper tight, gripping, grimy, you know, edge of your seat type stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of finish up that with. So we know that from the first part, Miriam's killed herself. Thomas and Josiah are living together. They're in a downward spiral. They're now trying to pick themselves up. We know that he's been told, because don't find out until later, but he's been told to stay away from a young boy. He seems to be keep pestering. We know there's something wrong with Thomas, and it's either due to trauma or due to him being developmentally challenged. Then it kind of cuts out a lot and then goes into the second part of the story. These are done in chapters, by the way, so it's a bit of a different way to do a movie.
It's like they were trying to be the director's cut of
Tarantino.
Doctor Strange without being as good.
Yeah, or do like a Tarantino type thing.
Or not Doctor Strange, Doctor Sleep. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Doctor Sleep was a yeah. They're trying to bring that kind of vibe, but they didn't pull it off because this second part I think is what killed the movie.
See, and I really liked this second part. It felt completely separate from the rest of the
It was
film.
a movie on its own, right? That could have been a separate movie.
It really was. Like, this could have been its own thing, and I would have watched it and loved every second of it.
In fact, I'll say it now. If it actually removed Eli's character completely, no offense to the actor because he played a brilliant role and he fitted in, but if he actually had removed his character and story arc, this could have been done with 3 people. This could have been done with Thomas and Mary and rejigged the plot slightly and been a lot tighter.
Yeah, because I mean, really, there's only the one aspect of it that would need to be changed, and really, it wouldn't change the story at all.
So anyway, we'll get into this here. Eli and the Gypsies is part 2, and we see Eli's rogering away there.
Yeah, that's a way to start a fucking segment.
He's just hammering away, you know, getting in there. I love those steel type caravans / trailer things. They're so nasty. Like I couldn't. I've debated this before. One of the movies I was talking about, where a guy's in a fucking toilet with a glory hole. How could you do stuff in toilet? I've just got this thing about, you know, I like my comforts. So like public toilets are fucking shitty. I've walked out of people's houses, you know, wanting to get jiggy on. I've looked and went, oh god, I'm near gagging, fucking out.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just not me. So he's in this grimy fucking trailer. I actually thought it was hers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because then when he smashes the alarm, you're like, dude, this isn't even your place. What the hell? And then she's so casual and blasé about it. I'm like, if that happened to my place, I'd be throwing him out the window. You know, I just it took me a minute to realize it was his trailer, and he invited somebody back. And then we'll have the sheriff reappear.
Yeah, that shit was funny. It's all freaking out. Oh, you're a couple weeks early. It's like, man, he's your parole officer. He can show up whenever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. Here's a funny thing. He uses the word nonce. That's a British word.
Yeah, I had no fucking clue what the hell that was.
That's a British word. Where he came off with, it's a man. You just tell her reaching. They just wanted to use the word. It's a British word. We've used it for fucking decades. Nonce is a kiddie filler. You know, that's...
Okay. I kind of figured that's what it was, but it's like, that's the first time I heard it. It's like, is that a fucking Southern thing? Because
no, it's a British word. I just laughed because he's proper stretching, trying to come up with a reason why it was used. You're like,
dude, I mean, that's fair. Like, you guys have a grip on just curse words and slang and shit. And it's beautiful. It's a different,
We love it.
completely different language.
It's a whole way of expressing.
It's beautiful.
And if we can make up words on the spot, we will do, and it'll become a thing. And if it fits with rhymes, and if you ever look up, I'm not a massive sports fan. In fact, I'm not a sports fan, to be honest. I used to play rugby, that was it. But British football chants, soccer, you call it, you know what I mean? But British football chants, look them up. And some of the shit that they come off with, and it's just on the spot. Something will happen in the news about a player, right? Say a player will get a DUI. By that Saturday, if they're playing the game, there will be a song made up about it, and people will be singing it on the terraces at that player. And that's, that's just our culture. It's not so much the words, it's the inflections and the feeling behind it. And that's what makes us what we are. Bunch of gobshites, I know, but
hell yeah.
It's always funny. You've experienced me in full flow with a few beers. I mean, you're like, what the fuck? Imagine 10 of us all being like that.
Yeah, it's a fucking party.
Just goes on. And that's why people can drink all night. It's not even so much drinking, it's just hanging out and talking shit. And then next thing you know, the sun's coming, you're like, fuck, right, okay. Because it's that animation of language and use of language and not worrying about received pronunciation. It just makes everything more lively. And innuendo is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Just not beating people over the head with it, just saying, having a wee bit of fun, and especially with sex, just have a bit of fun. Yeah, you're saying it, but you're not saying it, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's all a game. But yeah, the way you call them a nonce, I'm like, where the fuck are you trying to culturally appropriate our language, you cunt? I'm gonna go full lefty for this one. Cultural appropriation. Fucking
bastard.
Anyway, back to the story. So it turns out Eli had it off with a 16-year-old he met at a bar. It's actually fair enough. There's a reason why they're called jailbait. And the thing is, we've just seen, he's just demonstrated that he would basically be like a rat up a drain pipe and tackle anything.
Yeah.
But, right place, right time, anything's for a game. If I had hooves in the tail, I think he'd probably think about it once he had enough liquor in him. But we'll see this guy's an absolute disaster. He's a broken man. What parole officer goes to a person's employer to stitch him up?
Well, in the case of him being a pedo, like, he has to let people know that shit. So, like, that makes sense.
If you're in a certain... Well, do you not have we have to declare stuff? Before you certain jobs you have to declare. Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, and then after a time it disappears. We have that in the UK. Maybe because it's a small town. My whole premise is, what I don't get is, he goes to Eli, he puts cuffs on him while he goes searches his apartment or his trailer, and you don't hear the big girl speaking. That was funny. Like, he just walks on in, she's laying naked in the bed and not a word. Or did they jump in time?
Yeah, I don't think it ever really explained whether she left or not before that. If she didn't, that's funny as hell.
Or is this supposed to have jumped This is where this movie, like I said, this is the worst part of the movie, is actually Eli's story in terms of the narrative.
It definitely feels like a separate story because the very end had literally nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Yeah,
it was weird. But my point is with Sheriff, okay, he's already told him he could put him back inside anytime he wants for infractions. So if that's his plan, why doesn't he just do it?
Right.
But at the same time, if he doesn't want to put him back inside, why is he hobbling his work? And he's boasting about it. You don't have a job anymore.
That's also like classic small town cop mentality. Like, they're essentially the football jock that failed in life, so now they're just continuing their bullying in a different profession versus just in school.
Yeah, Plus, being a small town, and I thought that actually the way they framed this, I thought they'd all moved all different parts of the country, but it turns out they're all still within Texas, so they're all still within the vicinity.
Yeah, I was thinking
I didn't
this
quite
was
that on until later.
completely different.
Yeah, so being a small town, everyone would know anyway, and everyone know the circumstances.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that is pretty fucking weird.
That whole scene, that's what I mean. The whole scene there, I didn't get. Now, he never brought up the letter from the oil company, because it would have made sense if he was using this as a tactic to strong arm him into signing the letter. But he never brought it up, as in, well, there's an opportunity to get yourself out of this. Then the character would have made sense. Or did they cut that bit out? So, from the conversation with I'm just trying to unpack this in my head myself. We know from the conversation that the oil company approached the sheriff. They've asked for his help. He's we see him strong arming Eli. But if you kind of glossed over that part, you wouldn't have, unless the sheriff handed in the letter, but the letter was already in the trailer.
No, so then he doesn't even see it until the end of the segment.
Yeah, so that whole scene with the sheriff doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like it really doesn't. Like now that we're talking about it, I just accepted it initially, but now it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If he's going to bang him up, he'd have done it. He had drugs on him. You know what I mean? It was the worst pat down ever because he's sitting with a big bag of like uncut, gnarly stuff.
Well, it's like the only thing I can think is that was essentially the way to kind of bring everybody up to speed with his story. But it's like in the next scene, we would have got that anyways, because the sheriff's talking about, oh, well, I hear you're into gambling and into this and into that. And, you know, you're in debt now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we didn't really need that because we got that with the next scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was fucking pointless.
And this is where, that's what I said, this is the weakest act of the movie. Because it's so strung out that it actually takes away from a generally good story. Because this is actually it's a good plot.
It really is. Like I said, I would watch this movie if this was its own thing.
So when then see Eli, he's brought the local kingpin. I don't know what the correct term, because he's like operating out of the back of another trailer, and you see him paying off people. Paying off a sheriff right in front of him, not giving two shits.
Yeah.
And Eli's like fucking up to his eyes. He's going in deep. So once again, it's leading us towards, okay, this signing this sale letter, convincing the family it's going to work. But this is where the plot goes really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can pay all this off by doing one job. Go and steal a bunch of gypsy gold from a group of carnies just before they leave. Because that's always sensible.
I mean, I'm sure nobody's tried it before.
One thing over here, maybe it's not as prevalent in the US, but if you get into it with gypsies over here, you are dealing with fucking clan upon clan upon clan. They're actually a very dangerous people to mess with. And actually, a friend of mine, he used to tell me stories. He was a nurse and he worked in the reconstructive surgery department. And a lot of gypsy fights, they'll come in because when they fight, they actually go out of their way to mark the other person.
Damn.
So they actually cut their nose off, or an ear, or both, and disfigure them to know that they've been beaten in the fight. So it's not the bare knuckle boxing stuff is just for fun and making money. But when they're actually fighting, they're out to either kill or completely disfigure. So what you would have is people from a tribe would go into the hospital to get, they've just got their face completely mashed up. So it's emergency. It's not plastic surgery, it's part of it, but like emergency reconstruction. If you get into a bad car accident and you need to get reconstructed there and then. And he'd say these people would come in and they'd have to literally get their faces put back together. But
Jesus.
the next week, as soon as they get out the hospital, that person that was fighting with them is going to go after them again because they fix themselves and not wearing their scars. So this person could have thousands of dollars of, plastic surgery done just to put their face back together. And then the next week, as soon as they get out of the hospital, that person's good at them again. They like retake their nose off. That's the level these people operate at. So to go and fuck with them is just the stupidest thing ever. Not to mention the supernatural element, which is brought in here, which the supernatural elements have been quite loose with us.
Yeah.
They played fast and loose with it. This could be as easily just a psychological horror as opposed to any supernatural. It's hinted, but isn't it sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a very subtle thinner.
But yeah, okay, Eli, you go and do this job. You're not even they're not even getting armed properly. He's just going in to distract people. You go in and drink and talk to people and keep them distracted. That's your job. And I'll write off all your debt.
Yeah, that right there. I'd have been like, I should probably just die instead.
Yeah, completely mad. Oh, yeah, that's why the sheriff came after him, because that wee girl went missing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a 9-year-old girl that
went missing. And he automatically thought, and here's the mentality as well, because I get it. There's a reason why after a certain age you don't go out to bars. Because it's too fucking dangerous. Because 15, 16-year-olds get fake ID, they dress up, and you can't tell the difference between them and a 20-year-old. And there's that fucking dangerous age where you're late 20s, where you're like, oh shit, I can give him the bother here. Do you know what I mean? And it's not worth it. So his story is actually not horrible. Do you know what I mean? It's actually probably been done 100 times.
I mean, I know,
but the fact that the guy jumped, that he went there to kidnap a 9-year-old, like, sorry, mate, no.
Yeah.
Nonsense are fucking sneaky bastards. They're sneaky predators. They're not fuck-ups like him.
Yeah.
It just, once again, that's the whole bit doesn't quite work. I know they're trying to set up a storyline, but they're rushing a part of a storyline when they've dragged out the rest.
Like, I feel like it kind of works because it shows the despair of the character. Like, he just doesn't even try anymore because he's already got that, scarlet letter on him. So whatever, he's a fuck up. He'll just stay a fuck up. Which
is understandable. I get it. Just maybe I'm just nitpicking points, but just my logic centers are going, doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to this busy carnival where they're leaving the next morning, so they're packing up and they're having to have a party like the last night of the show, which I never knew about. I thought they just packed up and went on to the next job, but yeah, apparently they celebrate at the end of each run as such.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, why not? Freaking may as well enjoy life. You know what I mean? If you're on the road all the time, so that's what you have to do. But God, what a miserable bar.
Yeah. I was expecting like a bar because they're like, oh yeah, just go in and get a couple drinks. And then he goes in, it's like, nope, this is just Homeboy's fucking trailer.
Yeah, I thought they would have had it done. You get like nice food trucks and stuff. Because this is set in modern times. That's the thing. Because we've got modern phones and technology. You know what I mean? Because when we skip the next one, we'll see we're actually in modern times. This looks as if it's a world beyond. I mean, the first two parts.
Yeah, this could easily be in the between the 70s and late 80s.
Yeah, time has stood still, which is brilliantly done if you think about it. When you think of the number of period pieces, the amount of work they have to go to, and it looks cheap and nasty, with this just naturally good. It's timeless. This kind of world, and it's showing an underworld where us in our comfortable lives, don't see.
Yeah,
it's showing this kind of underbelly of society, which is disturbing in itself. That this world still exists today. So that was really well done. So they arrive at this bar, and the thing is, he's a fuck up. How much charisma do you have to have? Like, he instantly gets the most attractive woman in the group to come over and talk to him straight away.
Well, I mean, that's only after he almost gets his ass kicked for not being, or for being somewhere where he shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, true enough. He's like,
Yeah, because that one guy's like getting ready to beat the fuck out of him because he knows that he doesn't belong. And then he gets called off, and that's when she shows up like, hey, here's a beer. Let's talk. I'm clearly flirting with you.
Yeah, but still, even at that, like normally, like someone like her wouldn't give a shit. You know what I mean? She's top. You know what I mean? She's like the most attractive, most desirable person. So she would be socially up there. So she wouldn't need to bother herself with someone like him. He's nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
just
mean,
funny.
unless like my thought on that whole interaction was she was trying to, throw a grift on him, and then she does
with a fortune telling. But she offered it for free.
That's true.
And I thought that was the thing. I thought she was going to give the fortune tell the reading. It turns out that's where we meet Madam Luna, Mama Luna, Mother Moon. Yeah. God, there's a stereotype and a half.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That's the only there's a lot of sort of stereotypes, but this is a stereotype. This is the gypsy fortune teller. Blind old lady, that doesn't need to see in the mortal realm because she sees out into the ether.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And this is like the proper supernatural element to it. And this is where it could have been its own story. And I just don't, it's weird, but she effectively tells him, you're going to die. And what was the other bit? You're going to die soon.
Well, and then also, like, that's how they find out the gold's being stolen.
Yeah, because you have something to atone for, and then all hell kicks off. Yeah, don't steal from gypsies. Don't stay away from them. Just don't mess with them. They kind of have their own little world. That let them crack on. As long as they don't encroach on you, fucking, they're not a people that, and this is out of respect as opposed to disdain. They're not a people to mess with. They are hardcore. They go at you as a clan. That is their whole mentality. You mess with one of them, you're messing with a whole lot. So, and I should prepare for that. Don't fucking mess with gypsies. And if this guy's dealt with these people before, he would know this. That Kington guy. What a moron. But yeah, everything just goes to rat shit.
Yeah, and so beautifully so.
These big tough guys that strong-armed alien just fucking get annihilated.
And I just love that reveal because it changes the pace of the entire movie. Like the attractive one is like, oh my god, you're gonna steal the gold, and then it just slows down and kind of pans back, and she slow motion is running into the room, and as that happens, you just see the one guy fly this way, and then the fucking really big guy fly this way, and just the whole time Eli's kind of sitting there like, I feel like I'm tripping balls, and then he slowly gets his face smashed into the table, and it moves to the next scene. Like, that was beautiful as hell.
This could have been a movie, honestly, in its own right. Fucking brilliant. There's a whole subplot here, and that's why I said it didn't need to happen, because it takes away completely. This is its own story, so it's not for a bad reason why this shouldn't be in this movie. That should be its own fucking thing.
Yeah,
there's a whole story of attacking a gypsy camp, stealing their gold, and the fucking, not just the supernatural element, but having a bunch of gypsies chasing you. It's a fucking movie in its own, honestly.
Yeah.
Good's too hot to handle, so to speak, because if you try and palm that shit off, you're marked.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this scene with Eli sitting with this other big dude.
Yeah.
Basically deciding how it's not if or why, they're deciding how they're going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And who does he work for and all that kind of stuff. I think they kind of already know.
Yeah.
And they're preparing. Have to say though, this is This is where we see the cleverness of Eli's character,
Yeah.
because he has the baggie his lady friend gave him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, "Oh, well, can I give you this?" He already tried to palm it off, and what's his face?
Yeah, on the
That's right, I forgot about that. But he'd already tried, he's like, "No, here, that stuff's great. Are you just handing me drugs in front of a fucking sheriff that I've just paid off?"
Right.
Fuck off, you know what I mean?
He's
Are
like,
you
did
taking
you
the
just
piss?
try to pay me with smack? I'll fucking kill you.
I have standards, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's like this guy, because we already got the premise that this stuff was uncut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dropping out, so he's like, "Here, party away." Just like fucking
Yeah, that shit was hilarious. He's like, hey, if you kill me fast, you can have this. And dude's just like, oh, whatever. Takes a little bump. And then it's like, oh, okay. And just ends up killing the entire balloon. Stands up like he's going to do something and then fucking kills over. Just so good.
How did he figure out about the wee girl?
Because he saw her when the door was open.
Yeah, because
or was that after? Trying to remember if
he
that
didn't
was
see her during the reading.
Okay,
Or
yeah,
did
it was after then.
So effectively, we found out the gypsies had kidnapped the girl to bring into their clan.
Mhm.
And I think it was Mama Luna had seen something in the girl, obviously having said or something, so she wanted her as an apprentice or something. That was the impression I was getting.
That makes sense. They didn't really explore it. Just that was just like, oh, okay, so that's where the girl went. Is the gypsy stole her?
Yeah, which is a known thing. Yeah. So he instead of saving his own, this is kind of his redeeming quality. Instead of just saving his own life, he goes in and grabs a wee girl,
Mhm.
and then just hightails it out of there.
Well, I mean, not before doing the classy thing of taking the guy that was supposed to kill him, his junk, dumping it on his dead chest, and then snorting some.
Oh, yeah,
That's great.
That's I mean, there's so many elements in this movie. It's I know people are going to pan it and this it's too long, but there's a lot in this.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. This completely veers off from the main plot. That's the problem.
It really does. Well,
And
because ultimately it ends with Eli saving the girl, getting the gold, taking it back to the Kingpin. The Kingpin being like, I don't fucking care what you do with her. That has nothing to do with this. Then he breaks out the gold and is like, oh, yeah, here you go. Here, why don't you have some? Go fuck off and start your new life. And Eli being like, look, man, I don't want this. Just fucking clear my record, like he said. And then the Kingpin just drops dead all of a sudden. And then they fuck off into the sunset.
So maybe because Eli didn't physically touch the gold. Because the Kingpin takes it out of the bag, where Eli lifted the bag. Maybe it's you have to physically touch the gold for the curse that you or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I took.
This is the only like really overt supernatural element to the whole movie. Everything else is subjective.
Yeah. Well, and then he's even like trying to get the girl to not touch it because she's getting ready to take it before they leave. And he's like, nah, fucking leave it.
Yeah. Don't, you just watch somebody die. Fucking don't do that.
Yeah,
that's not a good idea.
Kid.
And then that's it. But he goes back to the trailer, finds a letter.
And then when we go to the third part.
Yep. This is the weirdest part.
Yeah, because this one, in hindsight, fits with the rest of the story, but initially it's sort of like, this is very different.
Yeah, so this is Mary May I. That's part 3. We've got Mary and her husband sitting in front of a adoption panel or a social worker going through that. And it turns out they've had multiple attempts to adopt the child. They've been rejected. The biggest thing against is she's actually been sterilized. So she's actually went to hospital and like made herself that she can't have kids anymore. So that's a big no-no. And she's being treated for depression. So there's all sorts of issues there. So they're kind of going, maybe not the safest environment. Because if you're adopting a child, you're not exactly... The child's going to have additional issues apart from just being a child. So it kind of makes sense. We find out that Mary and her husband are basically on the thread.
Yeah, to say the least.
The whole dinner party scene was fucked up.
Yeah. Like that was the one thing they did really well with this scene or this segment was that level of just pure discomfort throughout. Like that hung heavy.
Yeah, when you've got that one element in your family and you're trying to be a normal person,
Mhm.
I might be speaking from experience. And you've got that one element that makes everything uncomfortable for absolutely no fucking reason.
Yeah.
She was vicious, like proper. They're trying to congratulate. Oh, hopefully, good luck this time. You don't know me, you know, just proper. You know, I mean, it's just polite talk. Nobody was having to go at her.
Yeah,
They've only met her, trying to bring her into the fold, and she's the one that's just fucking going at people.
Yeah, well, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Why do you think we would be good parents? What blah blah blah. It's like, damn, dude. Just fucking chill, man.
Yeah, not back here again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people are like that, they're just broken.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never fix them. They're just unfixable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're seeing this from Mary.
Oh yeah. Well, even before this dinner scene, when she's doing her art shit and then she has to go grocery shopping, how it just pans over like she's looking at something, and then next thing you know, the cart's abandoned and she's back home working out with just god awful music.
Oh god, a fucking dubstep, fucking what the hell? There was no reason for dubstep music to be in this.
I love some strange fucking shit. Like, if you guys don't know who Melt Banana is, look up Cellscape, that album. That's like the epitome of my kind of music. So I listen to some weird shit, but dubstep, it's just like somebody fucking scratched your CD and it was like, nah, cool, I'll listen to it.
I tried it. Obviously when Skrillex came out, I tried, but every fucking song just sounds the same. You know what I mean? There's no change in beat. I didn't mind Path to Totality, you know, the Korn album. And I didn't mind some of the J Devil stuff.
Ugh.
And I mean, didn't mind, but once you get over the initial, oh, this is new, you're like, you know,
yeah,
3-4 times once you play it, you're like, oh fuck, okay, done.
Yeah, it's kind of all the same.
I like Skinned. They're sort of a variation, you know, using electronic music. I like electronic music.
Oh, same.
I like Skinned, but even them, I liked the first two albums, and then their third one that they put out recently there is just bland shit. It's just not good. So their last bunch of songs, just like, oh fuck, right, that's it. They're all sounding the same, and yeah, not feeling it. So it's kind of dark, grimy element that that made the music interesting. It's gone now, and it seems to be that type of music. Because even the old school fucking rave stuff had character. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, fuck, look at Sandstorm. That song has like stood the test of time.
Yeah. Or I wasn't back in the day, but recently, or in later years, I became a massive Prodigy fan. If she had been playing fucking Prodigy, like Smack My Bitch Up or something, in fact, that would have been perfect tune to work out to, but fucking dubstep, oh my god.
Yeah, because that's some fucking workout music. Some Prodigy. I love that shit.
Yeah. It's funny because most people over your side of the pond are only discovering them now. It's like, dude, these are guys.
That's what I fucking grew up listening to, man. Are you kidding? Fucking MTV days, man. That's
fucking Aphex Twin and all that. That was there was like some really character-laden dance music back in the day. Obviously, you got your generic pop stuff, but fucking dubstep is horrendous.
Yeah, there's like nothing to it.
What else? There's like a variant of it as well, and it's just fucking the same beat over and over again. That's why I'm not a fan of rap music, because the beats they use is the same fucking beat or recycled stuff. That's where a lot of, you know, I mean, they seem to concentrate on their lyrics, but the music doesn't, you know, maybe a few clever fucking riffs now and again, but generally I always find like the music in rap very disappointing.
Yeah, so I don't listen to much mainstream rap. Like it's usually like the underground shit because there's more soul to it.
Yeah.
It's not just about the lyrics; it's also about the music.
I don't know if it's the license issue, but the point we're trying to make here is there's so much fucking better, more interesting, fun
Yeah.
music to have playing for a workout scene than the fucking shit they did. Because that just, I was like a fucking rubber band snapping, right? Honestly, I'm just like fucking straight out of the movie.
See, it kind of works with her character though, and like, because I mean, that's chaotic, annoying fucking music, and that's probably what her head is like. Because I mean, later on we find out that she is supposed to be medicated, but she's not. There's clearly something wrong with her, but it's just barely below the surface. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like it works with the character to have that kind of.
And
garbage.
she's put on the voice, you know what I mean? Because the brothers just sound like they're from the backwater, but she's kind of put on the professional veneer.
Yeah, she's gotten past that.
Yeah, but it's still there. It's still right there. You know what I mean? It's only a thin layer, and that whole persona, so to speak, is just under the surface.
Yeah, which we find out at the end of the movie.
Yep. Oh god. Yeah, there's a bit that we'll talk about. Just we're coming at the end of this wee section, but I didn't get why they kept showing a certain scene like in bits until the very end. We'll find out why.
Yeah.
But she comes back to her house. Where did she go? It was after the dinner party.
She went and talked to
she went to talk to the social worker, didn't she?
Yeah, that's
to
what
make her plea.
Yeah,
Right.
which that was fucking heavy, trying to explain why she wants a kid, and it's just like the bleakest, worst reason to have a kid.
Yeah, I'm empty, and a kid won't even fill it, but I want to give love to some.
But yeah, like giving the love will balance out the hollow that's inside of her. And it's like, damn, I mean, that's fucking real. That's how most people think, but you're not supposed to say that.
And that's where this movie works. Because it's that this is the uncomfortable feeling. I've talked about this before, the uncomfortable feeling of horror. As opposed to when you get past the jump scares of horror and you're not frightened anymore, what are you looking for? And this is what you're looking for in a horror movie, fucking making you on edge, going, ugh.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it just shows that reality is the real horror. And to put that front and center, that's what fucking sticks with you.
Yeah, so she's done that, and that, like I said, this whole bit's dark. You know what I mean? I'd say it's even darker than the first part.
Yeah.
Like, this is the darkest part of the movie, apart from, you know what I mean, the finale of everything to come, but this is proper fucking dark. Goes to a dark place, even darker than the Gypsies. That was more of an adventure. You know, this is, you know, there's something broken here. So when she comes back, she sees Eli's truck, which my whole problem's with the timing. This is supposed to be, they're only getting back together after 23 years. Maybe it's because I'm shit with cars and can't keep one more than 4 years before I break it. But I can't understand recognizing somebody's truck after like 23 years. But she knows it's his truck anyway, so plot needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, that initial nope and just turns around. That shit's hilarious. And then she just kind of stops in the middle of the road, like, fuck, I gotta do this, whatever. So fun. Like, who hasn't been there? Like pulling up to your place and there's a car there that you don't want to fucking see.
You're just like, I don't want to do this. No, yeah, so she comes in, it's Eli. Here's a bit, so he obviously explained there about the letter. Did she get one as well? She did, didn't she?
Yeah, and she was talking about it.
Yeah, so they managed them. So that's again, they're still in the locale because that's what took away. I actually thought initially they'd moved to the furthest reaches of the country, but no, they're all still local. So that's why the sheriff's able to track them down and get their stuff. But they're talking about it, and this bit of dialogue. Eli, what about Pa? Don't worry, I'll deal with our father. That dialogue is because we're going to get to the final act and things will be revealed, but we know that Josiah's there talking to Thomas and they're having to go back and face him. But knowing what we know, that dialogue's a bit strange.
Yeah, it's so much more dark than it sounded. Like when he first says it, it's just so off the cuff that you think, oh, okay, yeah, he's gonna talk to their father to make sure that he doesn't fuck around. And then as soon as you get to the end of the movie, you realize, oh, that's what he meant.
Mm-hmm. And then they keep doing the cutscenes to the hotel, traveling to the hotel, heading up there, which I thought was a bit strange.
Yeah. Well, even before that, cutscenes. Like once you start to realize like how dark the family is, it's right before it gets to that where Eli's talking about, oh, Mary, remember that game, Mary May I, where if we said something, you had to do it. And it's doing the flashbacks to them walking to the barn. And it's like, damn, all right, this is some shit. No wonder she didn't want to see her brother.
Yeah, it's like this is the darkest part of the whole movie. Right, so it's actually quite quick as well. I mean, it's actually the shortest, of the three, but yeah, freaking really takes you there. Things are not good with this family.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we'll get to the reuniting at the home. And it's all hugs and smiles when Thomas comes out and sees them both. Or no, we've got Mary sitting in the car refusing to get out.
Well, and then she decides to get out, and that's when Thomas finally walks out. And with their embrace, it made sense because they didn't have any ill will between the two of them. But when Mary and Eli were speaking prior to going to the farmhouse, she's like, oh, well, what about Thomas? You haven't talked to him in 23 years. He's like, I just want to tell him I'm sorry. So to have that initial embrace, like the second they see each other, it was like, wonder what the fuck's going on there.
Yeah. This and it starts off straight away. We'll get into the sort of the plot. Mary, you distract Thomas. I'll go and take care of the thing, and goes to find a shovel.
Yeah,
and you're like, the fuck? Because it doesn't spell out at that point what they're actually going. They've dug something. I mean, they've buried something, and they know that when the oil company moves in, they're going to unearth it. So you're thinking body. And then talk about the sinkhole. Fine, I mean, it's like, how did we jump to that?
Yeah,
because that just jumped there fucking straight away as soon as they arrived.
Yeah,
You got no hint. This is what's going on.
yeah, it was very much like, fuck, what the hell did I miss? I thought I was paying attention.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Because I thought initially it was Miriam. But we know the whole town knew that Miriam killed herself, hung herself from the tree.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm sitting scratching my head. Okay, what the hell? And this is where we realize that there's something. This is the sins that need to be cleansed. Mothers in hellfire. I mean, that whole build up to this is something they've fucking done. You're like, oh, right, okay. They're sitting at the dinner table, and Josiah's there. And this is where you start getting the hint that, by the way, folks, spoilers, if you don't, we'll go from here onwards, spoilers, okay? Because if you don't want to know what's going on, stop here, go watch a movie.
If you made it over an hour into this show and realize, fuck, I don't want spoilers, what the fuck?
Well, I think we've done well. Normally, we're a bit blasé about it, but I think this movie is something that you need to watch and unpack.
Yeah,
and go
definitely.
for the experience.
Yeah, if you are interested in this movie, stop right fucking now. Finish as soon as you finish the movie.
Because we've gone rope by rope, but you can watch this right now without the reveal and the actual climax.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's go. Fuck.
Yeah. This is where it just kicks off real fucking fast, and it's just like one thing right after the other. But that's when we find out Josiah's dead the whole time.
for the 23-year period, not even died recently,
Yeah.
nothing. Because we'll get the hint because Josiah's talking to Thomas and Thomas is talking to them and they're not speaking indirectly. And then finally Eli goes, Thomas, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh shit, right.
Yeah, that's when it goes to the flashback of them murdering their father. And then Thomas is just not comprehending what's going on. And that's when they explain what's going on with him. It's like, dude, we saw the restraining order. Like, you can't be around that boy. Like, your ex-wife. I don't have an ex-wife. You have an ex-wife. And it's just like,
and he's only
fucking
moved back into
rapid-fire
that
shit.
property.
Yeah. He's like, is that why you came back? Is it because of that? Because you're going to get in trouble. And that's, of course, when we find out that the boy that he's stalking is his child. And the ex-wife and stepfather have a restraining order against him because he's
Multiple.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Being the way he is, this must have happened recently. That's why I said at the start, he's not the, it seems that Miriam and Josiah's death has broken him, but he hasn't retreated into himself as much until, because you couldn't be married and have a kid and a family, and the boy's like 10. I mean, you couldn't be the way he is and have a family.
Yeah.
With someone who is prepared to get restraining orders. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not, if you're not mentally challenged, you can't hold down a relationship and get married and fucking have a kid. It's one of the challenges of the condition. So this must have happened recently, that he's actually reverted into a childlike state.
Yeah. And that's what it alludes to, is the trauma of losing his family, like the family that he built after he lost the family that built him.
Yeah, it's just reverted him back into a childlike state. And because of the kind of hint that he's different, and he's not talking almost the same way because he's put a blazer and stuff on and he's made an effort. But the way he's talking at the start, like a simple child, is not. You kind of see his old new self, if that makes sense, come out in front of the family. But this childlike state he's reverted back into is purely psychological.
Yeah.
Almost by choice, and not because he's like Downs or anything, or got an issue. Purely trauma based, and like you're saying, I think because whatever's happened in the family has made his ex-wife go, oh fuck, I'm out of this. You can't see our kid. You can't be trusted. But don't get any details. It's all kind of left out there and implied.
It's not like we really need them anyways. We get the gist of what's going on.
He's obviously straight in that place or become his father or something. We see it, but that's not the kicker. You'd think at this point, the kicker is that they killed their father. That basically abused them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing he talks about, is like, this is why Dad was a shitty person. Like, he fucked Mary and they had a kid. That's why Mom killed herself. And with me, he used to beat the shit out of me. He always told me that you didn't learn a lesson unless you bled. And he made me bleed a lot. Or he taught me a lot of lessons. And like, the broken individual that Thomas is, he's just following further and further down until he snaps.
Yep. And then the kicker is, no, Mother saw yous. And this is where the whole thing, the fucking, the whole reason for this whole shitty scenario coming about is they're busy doing the Lannisters, they're fucking each other. So the twins are fucking having it off with each other. They had the baby between them. And when Miriam found out, she's like, what have I done wrong? This is my fault. Done.
Yeah.
And that obviously, it seemed to be she's the one that held the family together. And then without her, that's Josiah, probably ready to kill them both.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it seems with most mothers. Like, they're the glue that holds the family together.
Yeah. It's completely fucked up. So it turns out they have to, and the whole thing, Mary, may I, and that, I think when we get to the scene where he actually went and dug up the bones of the baby, it wasn't just the bones of their father, it was the bones of the baby they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So they went and buried this baby. So it wasn't an abortion. It was they had a baby and then they fucking killed it.
Yeah.
The reveal when they open the crate and you see the size of that skeleton, that wasn't a newborn.
No, that was around for a little bit.
That wasn't a newborn. They had that baby, and the fact you see flashbacks into the blankets and stuff, that baby was part of the family.
Yeah.
They were prepared to do whatever to basically keep face. Probably Miriam would have passed it off as hers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but those two killed the baby for reasons. They didn't say why. But yeah, they killed the baby, and that's what... Is that what set Miriam off? We don't get this spelled out.
No, and that's honestly, I think the brilliance of
What's
this
the
movie
tipping
is
point?
it never quite tells you exactly what happened. Because even up until the final scene of the movie, it's like, oh, okay, obviously the dad was the one that knocked up Mary, and that's where the baby came from. But it's like, but did that really happen? Because Thomas is accusing them of having sex before they came to the farmhouse. So it's like, who actually did it? You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of the movie happens, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's probably it.
Was it them having the baby that made Miriam kill herself, or was it the fact they killed the baby? Which is even more dark.
The thing. Don't really know. It's kind of up to speculation. And also, was it the fact that she caught Josiah having sex with Mary?
Yeah, and that's all left kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the catalyst that made them kill Josiah. And you see the three of them just kill him there and then the spot.
Yeah, just bludgeoning the fuck out of him.
And the pure raw hatred. So brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not finished there.
Nope.
No. That would be enough to end any movie with that revelation and whatever. But no, Thomas isn't having any of that shit.
Fuck no. He is a broken man, and he is going to take everybody down with him with a fucking axe.
Yep. And I tell you what, to get that puncher, he casually walks to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
He casually picks up the axe, and then he just fucking charge. And they actually impale an axe like first time in the fucking chest cavity like that. That was brutal.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of force.
That was just you're not walking away from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Mary goes into the living room. Now, here's the bit that gets me. Did she genuinely think just closing the door was going to save her?
Well, she locked it.
See, I wasn't too sure about that. And because this is more psychological than supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hint of supernatural. But did she lock it?
I'm pretty damn sure she locked it. But at the same time, it's like, why wouldn't you close it, lock it, and then jump the fuck out a window?
Yeah, but she stands there, the music's playing, Josiah's favorite song, then he appears as an apparition.
Mm-hmm.
And we see him unlocking the door, but Thomas is just coming through the door as he did. So is this, like a collective mass psychosis thing?
Mm-hmm.
So he's embedded in their idea that he's talking to his father. She's got her traumas. And did she not lock the door? And I think it plays out in the next scene as well. Did she just close the door thinking she locked it? And then she sees in her head Josiah opening the door, but it's actually Thomas. Because he looks almost surprised himself that, you didn't lock it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And Thomas doesn't acknowledge his father.
Yeah.
So it was almost like this is Mary's moment.
Well, and I mean, that's pretty much like as she's getting ready to check out, it kind of goes back and forth with that anyways. Like her in a different place when something else is happening.
Yeah, and this is for such a long movie. That's all just happens so quick and rapid. It actually makes sense though, because there's nothing worse. I think if this had been drawn out, it wouldn't have made sense.
It
This
would
is
have
not
got
a slasher
boring.
movie. This is just the brutality of rage, and Eli's busy dispatched there and then, quickly taken care of. No messing about. She runs out the window or out the back, and this is where it gets a bit trippy. Because she's standing there and then she starts having these is it flashbacks to the hotel again and something else?
Like her walking up to the room.
Yeah, and then we see Thomas standing in front of her with no shirt on, and she's stabbing him. You hear the stabbing motion, and then it turns out she's then stabbing herself.
No. That
he's
was
stabbing her. You know, it kind of
that was the dream sequence that she had, was when she was stabbing herself.
Is that what it was? It got kind of confuddled.
Yeah. Her nightmare sequence in the third act, that was when she was stabbing herself, because that was with her husband.
Shit, I missed that bit, or sorry, that bit went out of my head. I think the dubstep broke my brain.
That's fair.
I think that part, it's like, oh, what the fuck?
It's understandable.
Right, yes. So she goes back to that. Yep. Because they all have premonitions. That's the supernatural aspect. They all have premonitions of their own death, essentially. But yeah, then we'll go back that she's barely even registered in the fact that Thomas is stabbing her to death.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't realize until she drops, and then she's just trying to say his name.
Yeah. Really harrowing scene. But they didn't mess about. And then we just have Thomas go back in the house and just sit down and act everything okay. The thing with the tree was funny. We didn't mention the tree at the start. So we'll see this here, Miriam, which I think is a bit dark, to like put the plaque on the tree where she hung herself.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. Buried.
Yeah. Thought that was a bit odd. Yeah, and then it pans out, and apparently Eli and Mary had a little 2x4 hammered on there, and the tree's on fire for some fucking reason. And
the 2x4 is, the writing appears as if it's clay. I couldn't quite pick it out, but it's like, here be cleansed or something. You know what I'm talking about? The
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, so the writing appeared on the 2x4 as it was burning. It's one of those really hard to make out. But when it falls away, we see that Josiah's name's been put on the tree as well. Fucking burning hell or something. So they've inscribed to both of them. So now we know that both parents were killed, were dead. They also killed a baby, which wasn't as if it was a backstreet abortion. Because I thought from that scene, I talk about her getting sterilized. I thought that might have been the result of a backstreet abortion.
No, because they did say when they were talking about it that she got a tubal ligation. Yeah,
so she actually went and got a proper medical procedure, but it was sort of hinted at that might have happened. It could have been, had to have happened because of complications from a,
yeah, true,
fucking coat hanger basically going wrong.
Yeah.
But it turns out, no, they didn't just have the kid. They fucking raised the kid. That was like, that was a big, unless that was the only size of skeleton I could find. That was a big fucking skeleton.
Yeah.
And the fact they had blankets and shit, like baby blankets, we saw the flashback there. So they just went nuts and killed the baby it was already out. We don't know when and what kicked this all off, but that's a whole sequence of fucked up events happened.
Yeah.
Broke these people. And it's one of the things you'll never unpick now, because obviously everyone involved is dead and Thomas is gone. He's gone back to his fucking happy place. You know what I mean? You'll never get any sense out of him. But you finish off with the tree burning and that bit and the writing appearing. And once again, it's an allude to the supernatural element. The sins have been repaid now. everything's cleansed, we can carry on. And then just to finish things off, we skip to the hotel scene.
Yeah. And they're just fucking going at it.
But not just with it going at it, but they're fucking going at it like just before they arrived at the.
Mm-hmm.
So even after like 23 years, they're at it, and you're like, the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they told Eli to get him on board, kill their father. And it's one of those. That's a good thing about it. You know what I mean? You can sit and ponder and talk about it, and the mysteries are, and it doesn't ruin the movie because it's actually this is one of those unrelatable narrator sort of stories. You're not going to get to the truth because it's seen from the viewpoint of each of the characters.
Yeah,
and each of them has a warped sense of what actually happened.
Yeah, definitely.
So all in all, that's it. Apart from the second act, Eli and the Gypsies, this had the potential to be really tight and gripping and on the edge of your seat. I think they just took a bit too long getting there.
Yeah, so last night, after it was over, I was kind of just like, well, fuck, that was 2.5 hours. I'm never getting back. But upon thinking about it, it's like, it was actually a really good movie. And yeah, it's one of those things that if that entire second part of the movie was gone, or even if it was just shortened quite a bit, like just the interaction with him and the sheriff and understanding how bleak his life is, like just a couple minutes of that, it would have tightened up the movie and made more sense. Because ultimately, the Gypsy Gold had nothing to do with anything. It didn't push the story forward at all.
Nope.
Like just the sheriff showing up and saying, "Hey, we're coming after you because there's a fucking 9-year-old girl missing." That's enough of a reason for him to skip town and want to start a new life. Like,
but
that's
also the fact as well, he's hobbled up with his job, then the letter.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we needed for him to progress to the next part of the story. And yeah, I'll agree with you. Like, if that whole Gypsy Gold shit was its own movie, that'd be a great movie, and I'd watch it.
Absolutely. It was a movie within a movie. It was just a bit of a strange choice.
Yeah,
it's like the guy had the director had two ideas, and wanted to play them both instead of saving that pitch for the next movie. But such a shame. But generally, I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was good.
Yeah, watching it the second time is really hard because, like I said, I was going through to pick up plot points and stuff. Even then, it's a slog. And especially when you know the ending, it's a fucking slog to get there. That's my only real complaint. Like you said, remove that whole section, tighten it up. Amazing movie. I would have you just there. So there you go. Not the worst movie I've watched in the last couple of weeks.
No, definitely
not.
No, not.
At least I was able to watch it and not go fucking
I'm not gonna lie, I had to take a couple of breaks because it just was so damn long, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I did the same, especially between each of the points, because it just wasn't going anywhere fast. Yeah, but a few tweaks, boom. They could even do it now and re-release it. It would actually cost them nothing to put that bit in the chopping floor. I would actually, it would work, but there you go. Well, folks, we're not quite as long as the movie was, at least. So it's one of the times the review is actually shorter than the movie.
Right.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. Those that are watching and watching afterwards, check the movie out. It's worth it. We'll give it that. It's worth checking out at least once.
Definitely.
And please, if you agree, disagree, certain points, let us know in the comments. This is all about conversation at the end of the day. Let us know what you think of the Terrifier 2 trailer as well. I'm excited.
Fuck yeah.
I was looking forward to this last year and just looking for a bit of goofy fun. And we know it's going to deliver. And all you haters, sort yourselves out, honestly. Relax.
Right. There's so many better things to be pissed off about. Just find something else.
Yeah. There's plenty to argue about. Go to the other fandoms. All the
Hmm.
other fandoms are at each other's throats. Go there.
Right. Star
Go to the
Wars
comic
really
book
wants
aisle.
you
Hmm?
there. Said Star Wars really wants you there.
Yeah, go to the Star Wars aisle, go to the fucking Marvel aisle, go to the DC aisle, go over there with all the comic book fucking people and fight with them. We have enough going on in horror without adding that shit to it. And there's plenty of fucking goofy shit. I've been trying to think about this whole like woke stuff and virtue signaling and why it hasn't really destroyed horror. And I think the reason being is just there's so much stuff and so many different levels that you can't even touch. It's a drop in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And they've made openly woke movies and horror, but they're just a drop in the ocean.
Well, and the thing is with horror, it's always been a social commentary. But the thing is, it's a social commentary that's not on the radar. It's called, subtle. This thing that people forget exists. It's always been that way, and it will always work that way because it's not hitting you over the head with the agenda of the movie. Like, it's just like, hey, here's a good movie. And then upon further consideration, you realize, oh, okay, this was the message involved. And then it's like, oh, okay, I like that. Versus just hitting you over the head with a hammer for an hour and a half of
with bad writing and terrible
we're
characters.
good people. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's lazy is what it is.
Yeah. I've been trying to unpick that when I'm talking to people. A lot of horror creators seem to have their good guy armor on. I'm a nice person. It's like, fucking embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the grimy side of things. This is where you just revel in the fucking being naughty,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what horror is, enjoy it. And if you want to fight and argue and fucking cancel people for liking a movie out of fucking thousands of movies, fucking go to one of the other franchises that are imploding because of it. We don't need it. We'll happily goof off even in this between each other, liking and disliking movies and stuff. And guess what? We'll be still here next time.
Fuck yeah.
And on that, just want to say thanks to our August contributors, Ashley Lister, Will Jordan, Gary Batchelor, and Scott Donnelly. Of course, this isn't the only segment we do. We focus on everything horror. We give independent creators a shout out. We feature their works. We talk about games sometimes badly. We try to play sometimes badly.
Hey, but it's fun, god damn it.
If I can get this one to go live every now and again and talk about shitty movies, you know what I mean? Be good. Not just listening to me all the time. Be fantastic. That might happen one day.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, check out our channels. Make sure you like and subscribe. Keep the fires burning. And until next time, keep it creepy.
Keep it horrific.